the Golden State Warriors. And today, Draymond Green addressed that on his podcast. And it was actually really insightful. It was entertaining to kind of hear him kind of go through the whole process of it all. Because he makes a great point, right? They hadn't been eliminated outside of the NBA Finals since 2014, in the playoffs, that is, right? And he goes through the whole just beginning to end type journey, and then basically says, that he doesn't believe that the dynasty is over, that there will be more to come, that they got it in the tank still and all that stuff. And he talks about the Lakers and credits the Lakers. And again, go check it out when you get some time. But one of the big things that he talked about in regards to the Lakers, which is something that I've expressed, and one of the big reasons why I think the Lakers very likely are going to win the NBA championship this year. And Draymond Green said in his podcast, the problem we had is we could not figure out the Lakers. He said, you get to these points in the playoffs where you are like, okay, we have them figured out. We know how we can beat them. And like he says in the podcast, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're always going to beat them. But he said, in our case, they have, right? Every time that they've figured somebody out, they have beaten them. But there are the course of the playoffs where usually after a couple games, you have a firm grasp and understanding of what you need to do in order to win this series. Sometimes you're too far behind and it's not able to happen. Sometimes even with that, like Draymond says, the ball just goes the wrong way a few times and you end up losing. But he said the Sacramento Kings, he was like, I said to his producer or whatever, we figured them out. He's like, we figured out the Kings, we're going to win the series, they're done. And he's like, and then after that, we ended up figuring them out and we ended up winning that series. And he said that a lot last year. And he said that his producer kept saying like, oh, like that's funny, like, and just kind of thought he was just talking. But every time he said that, he got it right. And he said, I went and I told my producer, we cannot figure out how to beat the Lakers. And that's why I think the Lakers team is just so dangerous, because there is no real way to figure out the Lakers. Every single night, you have a completely different person that can just go off for 20 plus and take over a game. I mean, think of it in the playoffs so far. You've had the Rui Hachimura game, you've had an Austin Reeves game, you've had a D'Angelo Russell game, you've had a Lonnie Walker game, you've had a Dennis Schroeder game. I mean, it's ridiculous. Every single night, it's somebody else that can come out of left field. And that's still not counting guys that have that potential, right? Like, we know Malik Beasley, if he could end up just finding his shot, could take over a game and go get you 20 plus. He did it for the Lakers, and he's done it for other teams in the past. Having a guy like Troy Brown, right? He's a guy that has gone off and scored 29. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to do that consistently, but that's the beauty of this depth, is you don't need Austin Reeves night in and night out to go get you 20 to 25 points. You don't need D'Angelo Russell night in and night out go get you 20 to 25 points, because you could get 10 to 15 from D'Lo, or say D'Lo doesn't have it that night. Okay, no worries. Dennis Schroeder, let's go. Oh, Dennis Schroeder doesn't have it. No worries. Lonnie Walker, let's go. Oh, Lonnie Walker doesn't have it. No worries. Austin Reeves, let's go. And that is what makes this Lakers team so special. The Warriors can't game plan for Lonnie Walker. They're game planning to slow down Anthony Davis and LeBron James. It's why I said the Lakers guard play is the key and the factor in this series. That was the most crucial part, because yes, the Warriors have Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole. That's all nice and dandy. But one, the Warriors are going to be game planning for everybody else but those guys. And on top of that, they're going to be trying to attack and go after and pulling Anthony Davis out of the paint and, trying to go after LeBron James. And then they made the adjustments on D'Angelo Russell, but then that allowed Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, the guard play. The Warriors cannot defend the Lakers guards. Steph Curry isn't a good defender. Klay Thompson is not a good defender anymore. Jordan Poole can't even defend me. Like, that's the difference. And the guard play was massive. The Warriors couldn't figure out the Lakers because there was nothing to figure out. It's a deep team, right? So, for example, Sacramento, you slow down De'Aaron Fox and you slow down Sabonis, you're going to win that series. That's what they did. You know, the Lakers with the Memphis Grizzlies. You slow down Ja Morant and you slow down, Triple J, you're going to win that series. That's going to be the same thing in Denver. If the Lakers can slow down DeJounte Murray and slow down Nikola Jokic, then the Lakers are going to win that series. But the problem is with the Lakers is if they slow down Anthony Davis and they slow down LeBron James, Austin Reeves can go get you 25. D'Angelo Russell can go get you 20. Almost every closeout game or every big game, when you look at it, like LeBron will have like 15 to 20 points. AD will have like 16 points. And then you just look at everyone else and it's like 25 for Reeves, 26 for D'Lo, 22 for, like it's just this list of guys all in double figures that have all contributed. You're never going to stop LeBron James. You're never going to stop Anthony Davis. Just like you're never going to stop Joker. You're never going to stop Murray. But if you slow them down, who else is going to step up and beat you? Is KCP going to be able to step up and beat you? Is, Michael Porter Jr. going to step up and beat you? Is Aaron Gordon going to be able to step up and beat you? Like, I don't see that. But the Lakers have proven Lonnie Walker can step up and beat you. Rui Hachimura can step up and beat you. Austin Reeves can step up and beat you. That's the difference of this team. This team isn't reliant on solely LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now, they need LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Like if you just took LeBron James and Anthony Davis off this roster, this team is probably one of the worst teams in the league. But Anthony Davis, because he doesn't have to go get you 40 every single night, he's able to be the best defensive player in the league. Because LeBron James doesn't have to go get you 40 every single night, he's able to save and conserve his energy to close out a Warriors team. And then we're going to get into this Nuggets series, right? LeBron's been conserving energy. We've heard Darvin Ham mention it, how Darvin Ham's talked about LeBron is conserving his tank for the later series. Here we are. And I talked about that before the season began. I talked about how if the Lakers make it to the Western Conference Finals this year, I believe the Lakers win the NBA championship because I believe LeBron James will dig down deep and go, I need to win 8 games and get my 5th title. I may never be here for the remainder of my career. So I think you're going to see a more dominant LeBron. And who on Denver is going to be able to stop them? And it's the same thing going forward. The reason the Warriors were able to beat Boston last year was the same reason that I said that they would. Granted, I didn't have this YouTube channel at the time, but when my friends and people were asking me, who do you like in this series? I was like, the Warriors are going to beat the Boston Celtics because Boston is too predictable and their lack of experience and their lack of execution down the stretch is going to cost them. And they ended up losing and all those things became accurate. Guess what Boston is really bad at this year? All those same things. They're super predictable. They fail to close out properly. Execution, the lack of experience, all of those things. They're going to have trouble, right? Miami's probably going to give them fits. I still think Boston comes out of the Eastern Conference, but Miami's probably going to give them fits. I think that they beat the Sixers because I think the Sixers just kind of blew it. But all of the teams remaining are far more predictable than the Warriors. The Warriors were probably the Lakers' toughest defensive matchup because of all the constant ball movement, all the constant screening, all of just the actions and sets that they run. It is so exhausting. You're running a marathon within a basketball game. There's always the constant threat looming of like, man, is that shot that Steph just made the beginning of the end for this game where he's going to go off and give you 30, Clay's going to go off and get, like, there's always that looming threat. You're not going to have that with any other team, right? Like, if you're playing, like, if KCP knocks down a 3, you're not thinking like, oh man, like, what if he hits 12 of them? Or what happens if that was the beginning of him and everybody not? You just don't have that threat. Is it possible that they can? Of course. But they just don't have the proof in the pudding to give you that. The Lakers, you can't figure out the Lakers because there's too many constant pieces that are changing game in and game out. You can game plan for D'Angelo Russell, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis, right? Great. Well, what are you going to do about Austin Reeves? What are you going to do about Dennis Schroeder? What are you going to do about Rui Hachimura? You saw Memphis told you after game 1 what the game plan was. Let's see if Rui could do that again. Rui followed that game up with another 20-point game. And then Austin Reeves beat them one game. Like, that's the difference here. Is the Lakers have constant guys. Like, is anybody worried about, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope closing out the Lakers? No, I'm not. Is anyone worried about Michael Porter Jr. closing out the Lakers? No, I'm not. Can it happen? Yes. But so could, Draymond Green got 20 in a game. Dylan Brooks had one decent game, right? Like, it's just like guys have good nights, right? JaMychal Green got subbed in and had an amazing, like, it could happen. But out of 4 games, is KCP going to beat you? Probably not. Michael Porter Jr. going to beat you? Probably not. Is Aaron Gordon probably going to beat you? Probably not. But you know what the Lakers have proven? On any given night, Austin Reeves can beat you. On any given night, D'Angelo Russell could beat you. On any given night, multiple guys could beat you. That's what makes this great. That's what makes this team so special. Look, Denver is going to be a tough matchup. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discredit Denver by any means. Same thing with Boston. I think Boston would be our toughest matchup because they're good. They're top 5 in both offense and defense. They're the only other team in the league that has that. So they're probably our toughest matchup. But again, they're very predictable. A lot of isolation, a lot of just chucking up threes. It's not as hard to figure out. And once you figure it out, it comes down to, do you have the tools in order to beat them? You saw it the entire series with the Warriors. What did Draymond Green say on his podcast? Man, Steph pulls me aside and says, like, I really can't figure LeBron out. Because LeBron has never played this way before. Ever. You know why? Because this might be the best overall, all-around team that LeBron has ever had. Don't get me wrong. LeBron has had some very talented rosters, but a lot of them were very front-loaded, right? You had Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, LeBron James. You had Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, and, LeBron James. They were very front-loaded, right? Where the Lakers, they're legit like 15 guys deep. Again, guys that have fallen out. Lonnie Walker fell out of the rotation, and for good reason. I know Lonnie Walker fans don't like to hear that, but it's true. Like, there was good reason. Lonnie Walker himself told you it was good reason, and he understood, and he actually worked on it during this time. So that way, if he got an opportunity again, he could show he fixed that. He said it himself that he understood that. And now look, now he deserves to be in this rotation fully. He again went off in the third quarter of the last game, right? Like, and now you have Troy Brown and Beasley who have fallen out of the rotation. Both of those guys could be huge in this Denver series, right? And both of those guys have potential to go off and beat you. Like, how many teams have that? There's even a real argument for Max Christie and Shaquille Harrison. Like Tristan Thompson is probably might actually get some run in this. Mo Bamba, who we haven't really seen, is probably going to get some run in this series. How many teams have that? Denver has some nice pieces. Don't get me wrong, right? They're very talented. All 5 guys can shoot. That's definitely something that the Lakers have not had to face yet, right? The Lakers have not had to face a team where every single guy on the court is a threat. Like that, because again, with Memphis, they were able to keep guys, to themselves, right? Don't worry about, if Dylan Brooks beat you, he beat you, right? If Xavier Tillman beat you, he beat you. Same thing with the Warriors, right? It's like, if Gary Payton and Draymond Green and Kevon Looney beat you, then they beat you. What Denver has is legit 5 guys in their starters that can all shoot the ball, that you have to worry about from all of them. Literally, all 5 of them can knock down the ball. Even Jokic, right? Jokic doesn't like to shoot a lot of threes, but he can. He's knocked them down, right? And then from a bench standpoint, they, again, have another several guys that can, mainly Brown. Brown's probably their best, like, fill-in guy off the bench. But, Green, and they've played Braun several times. These guys, even Jackson, right? These guys are all guys that, can provide that, but they're not giving the output that the Lakers' depth is, right? Like, Brown's been solid, but he hasn't been Rui Hachimura, right? He hasn't been Dennis Schroeder, right? Like, it's just the Lakers have a team, and that's why teams can't figure them out, because the team. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? How do you feel about it? I really, like, when Draymond said that, when I heard Draymond say, hey, we just could not figure them out, I was like, that just beautiful. I was like, that's my point. That was why I thought the Lakers were going to beat them. Because on any given night, anybody can beat you. It's not just LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? Previous teams for LeBron, it was like you have to worry about LeBron, Kyrie, and Kevin Love. More so LeBron and Kyrie. Before that, it was like you have to worry about LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. More so Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, right? If you can slow them down, you're going to win the series. Well, now it's like LeBron could give you 10 points and the Lakers could still win. That's huge. That's huge. Like, Anthony Davis could go and give you 15, 16 points and you could still win. That's huge. Because they're not top heavy like they were. But anyway, again, let me know how you feel down in the comments.